So sometimes, in the beginning of these videos, I look and stare at the screen very awkwardly because I have no idea if it's actually recording or not. I know it's been a while. I think I've been going through a lot of stuff, I think mentally, a lot of second guessing myself. But I am hoping that I can channel my inner Hobi, my inner J-Hope, and just try to focus a little bit more on balancing myself. And for a little background information, February is always a hard time for me. A lot of things in the past tended to revolve around February. But since, my brain fog is a little bit less this year already. So with that being said, even though I've been dealing with a lot of stuff mentally, I'm going to try to channel that a little bit more, and just focus on the strength that he inspires. What's hard for me, honestly, is I'm gonna take it from Jin, who gave the advice to to Sugar about how you don't have to try to be optimistic. You just have to learn how to live mindlessly. You're just going with the flow and not always just like overthinking things and constantly, that doubt that can sometimes, overthinking things can consume you. So I'm trying to combine some of Jin's advice and some of Hobi's spirit and learn, because normally what happens this time of year, I turn inwards and I shut down for a good while of I will see and hope that I can keep up this mindset as it gets closer to the week around Valentine's Day. And some people have said to me, well, maybe not said to me, but normally when I tell people, and I don't go into detail, because I don't always want to go into detail, but when I do sometimes, I just say, it's hard for me. And then some people automatically assume it's because it's like, oh, if you're not seeing someone, Valentine's Day is can be rough depending on how you see it and everything. I tell people, I understand where they would come to think that way. For me, this particular time of year is like loss. And it's intermingled with the bittersweetness of celebration of spirit and celebration of what someone stands for me. And it's all intermingled in the same week. And since before in the past, when I have celebrated Hobi's birthday, I didn't do a full-on celebration because, I tried to incorporate a little bit of, his, just what he brings light and life and everything. When I have maybe like a few of the things that he and June Bear have said, like, scattered every now and then in around and where I can constantly see it, so I can remember certain things when I doubt myself or doubt life. And I guess it kind of goes on with the whole, like, second guessing myself. I feel like I'm having revelations while I'm talking, and, this is why I started doing vlogs. I had to remind myself, I don't do these vlogs for, like, showcasing certain things. I talk about things that I do, but it's, part of it is because that's how I process things. Part of my process of, I guess, dealing with things is going through, just creating something, whether it's a small little scribble, or if it's a project or something. For example, today, I definitely had a freak out. There's a reason. I definitely had a little bit of freak out, but I told myself in the middle, before I started escalating, I was just like, breathe, 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 just calm. Yeah, it's it's not the ideal situation, but it is something we can work with. And so I just kept telling myself, like, hey, okay, like, something as simple as when you're having a situation with your card and you end up having to search for all the change in your car or anything, but you do know that there is change in your car, because in the past you, like, put a pouch of some of the loose change, and so you know that you at least have something. So I told myself, I was just like, hey, hey, it's not ideal, but you have something. It's okay. And kind of trying to reassure myself that way. And, okay, so the reason I started this whole rant was because, yesterday, so by the time I'm filming this, probably not by the time I'm uploading this, it is, still February 2nd. So I went to watch, the BTS Get to Come Busan concert on the 1st. And, I saw it in 4DX. Mind you, I don't think I will watch a movie in 4DX again. And it wasn't even a movie. It wasn't even intense. Well, intense in terms of like all the scenes weren't like, something that would make me want to crawl up in the corner and die. I get overstimulated pretty easily. But I wanted to have that experience. And it was something in me that I was just like, and I looked up the difference online between Screen X and 4DX. And let me just tell you something. If I was looking up the details about Screen X, and I think maybe, and I don't know how it is over in South Korea, because they said that a lot of the SK, not SK, I'm talking about SK. A lot of the like Screen X and everything like that started a lot over in like SK and like that part, and then so I don't know, they probably have not mastered it, but probably it might be a little bit more advanced than the one it is, since it's only starting to come over to the States. But I read that Screen X tends to show a little bit more light, and then like the way that the screens are, you're kind of feel like you're definitely in it, but I was more concerned about the light part, because I'm already with my migraines and how my I get triggered, and sometimes sometimes they get really intense pretty quickly. Migraine can escalate, or it can cause like tension headaches or worse. I've had a headache before. It's really funny. So I was about to say what it's called, and for some reason it's like not coming to my head about what it's actually called. So I would just say, headaches where you feel like there's a jackhammer to your brain. I've had my fair share of those. And if I'm overstimulated, I don't want to, there was a chance with 4DX and Screen X to cause uh, a potential for a reaction, because I'm, like I said, I get overstimulated. However, because I had seen the concert, like, online, I knew there wasn't that many, like, crazy, like, certain things that could otherwise get me overstimulated, so I decided to just go ahead and do the 4DX. And I was not let down. It was amazing, and I was around some really awesome armies, and it was awesome. Like, I felt all the emotions, and every single emotion I definitely had. I smiled a lot, cried, just got, like, and I knew when I heard that I wasn't alone, because I heard other armies and their reactions, and some of ours were similar at certain spots, and it was just, you definitely felt it. And it wasn't just because it was, so in 4DX, your seat moves. And I think that was a part where I was a little bit, like, not sure. But because it was this particular concert, I really wanted to experience it in a different way than I had before in the past. Because in the past viewings of, like, different show, for, like, PTD over in Seoul, when they showed that one, when I went to the movie theater, it was, and it was a totally different experience, because that was, like, jumping up and dancing. But this one, because it was a 4D experience in which your seat moved and everything like that, and I already felt like I was moving in a way because I was dancing in my seat. But because of how the seat and everything was moving, and I was moving along with it, and just, like, doing this with my army bomb, I had never been so grateful that there was a strap with my army bomb. Because I was, as I told one of the fellow armies that I talked to after the concert, I was like, I almost felt sorry for whoever was directly behind me, because I was going insane. I was just so vibing and dancing and doing like this. But because of how the seats are and how things are spaced out, because the seats and everything are animated, it was a little bit more spacious. So there was less so in a way that made me feel a little bit better about how crazy I was. Oh my gosh, there was what really touched me though was you can tell it didn't matter who your bias was. When Jin was on the screen, there was so much, like, shouts an appreciation for Jin. That warmed my heart, and every time, like, there's certain parts where I was like, oh my gosh, I miss you so much. And you can tell. And it wasn't just like, and I definitely heard some people were like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Jen, we miss you, and all that stuff. And what I mean by it didn't matter whose bias you were, because a few of the people that I knew for a fact, were like, for example, very heavy rap line bias. Which there was a good chunk. There was a good chunk nearby me, and because, but those same people who I knew for a fact that they were nearby me, were also the ones that were like along with me, being like, Jen. So it warmed my heart. And also, I took it as a great sign that, cause, like I was saying in the beginning of this vlog, that February is I guess, a roller coaster of a month for me, especially the first half of it. But the fact that I got to see the Busan concert on the screen, starting at the beginning of the month, I took that as a sign. And I definitely took it as a sign. And I so grateful for it. I was very happy, actually, when I saw that. I was just like, I took that as a sign, and I took it more as a sign to, you know, with everything, because to start my day, even though, JK. Went live for like, what was it, like 4 almost 5 hours? I'm guessing here, because like, I only watched part of it, and what him and Instagram Live, the first attempt before he actually figured it out and got Tay on board. But I can't wait to rewatch that later. Because I took that as a sign. I was just like, okay. You know, I was like, alright, this is a sign that, you know, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be okay. And today was rocky. But I centered myself. I meditated a little bit. I drew a sketch, as I was just like, I told myself, I was like, well, I have a little bit of time between I having to do one thing to another, or at least sign in for one thing to another. And so I took that as a sign. I was like, okay, so I'm just going to listen to some, I was listening to some meditation music, and just literally staring up at, like, the skyline through the shade on top of my car, and I was just like staring at it, and I was meditating, and then I was drawing, and I was just like, because it was on that verge of either I was going to be stressed out and slightly irritable. I was going to be, and then or I was just going to, I don't even know, second guess myself about that I should be, that I should reschedule. Or I went for the third option, in which I centered myself the fuck down. And, yeah. Well, apparently, I'm going to be filming 2 parts of this, because I really also wanted to talk about Jimin, but instead of just putting in like timestamps, I'm probably just gonna do another video. Apparently, I'm okay with talking right now, so. Part 2. Very soon, as in after I click the button again. So, be right back.